Hi Katie, this is Chris again. This is video number 2, and I think last time we did a little bit of shout to the Lord, and I got you to work on the C scale. Okay, and basically I'm going to just start you out with the C scale because it's really easy. And what you want to do is use these 3 fingers always. You want to use your pinky, your middle, and your thumb. So your thumb on C, your middle finger on E, and your pinky on G note. So that's going to be a C chord right there, okay? C chord, see that? And a lot of times when you're playing a song in the key of C, you oftentimes would switch from going different directions. So what I will recommend you do in the beginning to make sure you be familiar with the keyboard, going from the C to the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and I want to also teach you numbers instead of just calling out the notes, calling out the numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on and on. So the C will be the 1, okay, and the D will be the 2, and the E note will be the 3, and the F note would be the 4, the 5th note would be the G, the 6th note would be the A, 7th note would be the B, and then back to the 1, which is C note. Okay. Now the importance of learning numbers is that whatever key you're playing in, the number system is always going to apply. And what I would do is show you a series of different chord changes just by moving your fingers by which you know the numbers. Okay, so when I would show you a number, you move your finger to that number and to a particular pattern. So like for example, if you're in C, this is 1 chord because C note is 1, okay? So if you're playing in the key of C, the C note would be 1, okay? So by it being 1, you'll play that C chord, which is C, E, and G, so that'll be the 1, okay? Now if you was to go to the 4, okay, which is the F chord, is basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just count from 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, E, F. Okay, so that's going to be the 4th change. Okay, so oftentimes when we're playing songs in church, you'll be like playing from the C and then doing this right here. So what you would do is just basically leave your thumb where it is and play the F note along with the A note. Now this right here is an F chord. It's an F chord because you got the F, A, and the C note that's playing the F chord, but instead of playing this F, this A, and this C, you're playing this F, this A, and staying on the C that you originally was at from the C. So you can already see that the notes that you're playing previously is going to a lot of times run into the next chord that you're going to be playing. So the C chord is a C, B, and G, and the F chord is F, A, and C. It can be any F, A, and C. It can be this F, A, and C, or it can be this F, this A, and this C, and back to this F, this A, and this C. Okay? So this is the C note, C, E, and G, C chord, and when you go to the F, what you do is leave your thumb and just switch these 2 fingers over like that. That's the F chord, and that's the F, A, and C. Now what's important about this position right here is that the pattern is that when you go into the 4th change, this finger goes up here 1/2 step, okay? Now a half step from one note to the next note, there are all half steps. From here, half, 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 half. From one note to the next, whether it's to the white to the black, is all half notes, all half steps, from one to the next. Now if you go from one step to the next step like this, that means it's a whole step because you got 2 halves. So if you're here and you got a half and another half, that means that's one whole step. So basically what you're looking at is that if you're you're playing the C chord and you go into the F chord like this, your middle finger goes up 1/2 step, but your pinky goes up a whole step. So you got the whole half and another half, which is a whole step. So what you're doing is that you're counting up a 1/2 step on the middle finger and counting up a whole step here. So you're going 1, 2. Once you go to that 4 change, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course this is the C scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's a C scale, and that's really important to remember. And that's the 4 change. You're going from the C to the F like that. C, F, C, F, and you're using these 3 fingers to do that. Now when you go to the G, okay, G is another step. It's going to be kind of like, it's going to be a switch, but instead of switching this way, we're going to switch this way from this position, okay? So what you're going to be doing when you're switching this G position right here, this is a C. Now a G is G, B, D note. That makes a G chord, G, B, and a D note. So if you're in C and you're playing the G, what you're doing is playing this G note, this B note, and this D note. That way it's easier to do this instead of just going from here to here, which is the exact same chord, except it's easier just to switch like that. But you're going to learn a series of different chord changes, and this is going to help you, because when you're playing different songs, it's going to help you develop the melody of the song as well as the rhythm of the song, and you'll see what I mean later on by that. Now from the C note, what you're doing is you're bringing down your index finger. Now this is the only time when you're playing a 3-note chord that you use your index finger, because it's easier instead of doing this right here. See that? So what you're doing is going from the C note to the G chord, C chord to the G chord. See that? C, E, and G, B, D, and G. Now because you're going to this G chord right here, what you're doing is you're going to the 5th change, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So when you switch like this, your pinky tells you what chord that is. See all this space right here between your pinky and your index finger? But these 2 notes are close. That means that you look at your pinky and that tells you what chord that is, that note. So that's a G chord, because that tells you that note right there is a G note, and that tells you that's a G chord. Now back to the C right here. This is a C position, C, E, and G. Now this is a regular position, because if you look between these 2 fingers, it's basically the same amount of space. So that's going to be a regular position. And if you look at your thumb, that's a C note, and that'll tell you that's a C chord. Okay, now when you move to the F, when you move over like this, okay, in this space right here, you look through your middle finger, and that'll tell you whatever note that is, that'll tell you what chord that is. So then in this case, this is an F note, so that'll tell you it's the F chord. Okay? So let's review what we've done. We got the C chord, the F chord, the C chord, and the G chord. The 1, the 4, the 1, and the 5. So like you'll learn a lot of songs in just these 3 chords, especially a lot of hymn songs. So work on that, and this is video number 2, and I'll see you on the next one.